Today, we're diving into a book that might just change the way you see, well, everything. It's Sapiens by Yuval Noah Harari. This isn't just a history book. It's a journey that asks a huge question. How did one, frankly, pretty insignificant ape end up ruling the entire planet? Let's get into it.
So let's start where the book does. I want you to imagine something. Picture yourself traveling back in time, about 70,000 years ago. You step out, you look around, what do you see? And more importantly, where are we? Where are the Homo sapiens? What's our role on this planet?
And the answer is, we weren't doing much of anything special, honestly. We were just another animal, minding our own business, no more important than a jellyfish or a chimpanzee. There was absolutely nothing about us that screamed, future rulers of the world. We were, for all intents and purposes, insignificant. So, what on earth happened?
Well, according to Harari, the answer is that our species unlocked a kind of superpower. And no, it wasn't super strength or the ability to fly. It was something that happened inside our own minds that completely changed the game for us. And here it is. This is the big idea of the entire book. Our superpower is really two things working together. First, we can imagine things that aren't actually real, that don't physically exist. And second, we can use those shared imaginings to cooperate with millions of complete strangers. No other animal on the planet can do that.
To really get this, let's think about scale. Okay, imagine you have a group of 100 humans and a group of 100 chimpanzees. Side by side, the difference in what they can accomplish isn't that huge. Both groups can kind of organize themselves, find food, and get by. The real magic isn't obvious at this small scale.
But this is where it all changes. Now imagine 100,000 of each. For the chips, it's just total chaos. No way they can organize at that level. But for humans, we build cities, we create companies, governments, entire nations. This is our superpower in action, the ability to work together on a massive scale with people we've never even met.
So how did this superpower actually shape our history? Harari breaks it all down into three huge turning points, three massive revolutions where our ability to imagine and cooperate just completely reshaped the world.
All right, so first up, about 70,000 years ago, we had the cognitive revolution. This is when our brains got a major software update. Then, way down the line, about 12,000 years ago, came the agricultural revolution, which changed how we lived. And finally, just 500 years ago, the scientific revolution kicked off, and that's what really created the world we know today.
The cognitive revolution was the real beginning. It wasn't about our bodies getting stronger, it was about our brains being able to think in brand new ways. We started using complex language to tell stories about tribal spirits, about legends, about things that only existed in our minds. And that storytelling let us cooperate in much bigger groups, turning us from just another animal into the planet's top predator.
Next up was the agricultural revolution. This is when we swapped our life on the move, as hunter-gatherers, for a life planting seeds and staying in one place. Now, this let us build villages and eventually cities, but Harari makes this really interesting point that for the average person, life actually got harder. More work, worse diet, more disease. But it did allow our population to explode and let us build complex societies around this new shared story of owning land.
And that brings us to the most recent and dramatic shift, the scientific revolution. For thousands of years, we thought we had all the answers from old books and traditions. The revolution started with a really radical and kind of humble idea, admitting that we don't know everything. That simple admission, that I don't know, became the launchpad for science. It's what pushed us to observe, to experiment, and to question everything, which unleashed all the technology we have today.
Okay, so this leads us to what is, for me, the most mind-bending idea in the whole book. If our superpower is imagining things that don't exist, it means that the world we've built, the world we live in right now, is basically held together by stories.
Just think about money for a second. A banknote like this one, it's just a piece of printed paper. It has zero actual value. A number on your banking app is just a pixel on a screen. The only reason it works, the only reason you can trade it for food or a house, is because we all believe in the story. We all share this fiction that it's worth something. It's a promise, and we all buy into it.
And it's not just money. Think about it. What is a country? It's not just lines on a map. It's a shared story about identity and history that lets millions of strangers trust each other. What's a company, like Apple or Google? It's a legal fiction,
an idea that exists only on paper and in our minds. Human rights, laws, even religions, they're all powerful shared stories that we use to organize ourselves. They're the invisible glue holding society together.
So why is this book, Sapiens, so special? Why did it become this massive global phenomenon? What makes these ideas so powerful?
Well, the genius of it is really its simplicity. Harari takes these super complex topics, history, biology, economics, and weaves them all into one big, easy-to-understand story about humanity. He's not really presenting brand new, unheard of facts. The magic is in how he connects all the dots, putting information we already had into a framework that suddenly makes sense.
In fact, Harari himself says this. He's been quoted saying, "I haven't written anything new in this book." His real skill was taking all the puzzle pieces that were already on the table and putting them together in a way that lets us see the whole picture for the very first time. It just goes to show you, sometimes the biggest breakthrough is just a new way of looking at things.
And so that leaves us with one last massive question to think about. If our entire world, our laws, our money, our nations, is all built on these powerful shared stories, well, that means the stories can change. So as we look ahead, the most important question we can ask ourselves might not be about technology or politics, it might just be this: what is the next great story that we are all going to believe in?